時代を先取るちゅうとその生産性がどうやとか、ね、製造効率がどうやというようなことやろ。あるいは利便性がどうちゅうけど、そんなものを追いかけたってな、ほんまに生活に役に立つようなもんは私はできひんと思ってる。天然繊維が一番優しいもんな。うちは天然繊維の綿帆布とか麻帆布を扱って、カバンなんかの製品を作ってんやけれども、でその中で帆布っていうのが非常に丈夫な素材やから、昔からその帆布を使うて、実用的なものを作ってきたから、やっぱりそれを作り続けようと。でついてはできるだけ長くね、飽きられんと使ってもらえるような製品を心がけていかなあかんなと思ってきてんけど。これ一番古い1940年ということは80年前、オールだ。だからここにいる人たちの使ってるミシンはどれ一つコンピューターついてない。全部自分の腕で。
主に下色としてミシンのフォローというかボタンをつけたりですとか、肩で印をつけたり。
もともと別の仕事してたんですけど、ものづくりがしたくて、仕事何してんのとか聞かれて、市沢帆布でカバン作ってますっていうのがすごいかっこいいなと思ってます。
ミシンが上手に踏めるようにいつも前で仕事をしてお手本を見せてくれているので、その技を盗むじゃないですけども、ちょっと教えてもらいながらベテランの職人になりたいなと思います。
それぞれが自分なりにその作り方やら書いたノートはある。でも絶対この通り作れっちゅう言い方はしてない。マニュアル通りにしたら間違いのもんができるやろ。そやけどそれ以上のことせえへんでしょ。大量生産大量販売にするんやったらマニュアルにせなあかんかもから。 でもそういう気持ちがないもんな。
パーツが3つ、このパーツを最終的に1つに縫い付けるという作業になります。ミシンもやっぱり全部状態が一緒っていうことはないので、70% ぐらいの調子で縫うのであれば違うミシンに切ってもそれはもうすぐに調整できる話なんですけども、それを90、95に引き上げていこうとするとやっぱり何ヶ月かかかって調整しながらっていうことは必要になってきます。
まずみんなでいろんな意見を言って何度もそこで改良してで次に実際に使ってみてこれやったら大丈夫やったら初めて新作で売り出すんだ。ネット販売したら24時間いろいろこっちへ情報が来るでしょ、お客さんから。そしたら寝てられへん、忙しなるやん。それよりもやっぱり自分とこの店に来てもろてその製品をまず見て手に取って場合によったら匂いも嗅いでもろてで気に入って買うてもらうのが一番間違いないんや。
My wife disliked air conditioning and I like the outdoors. So it's quite natural that we wanted a very open space, a very kampung house kind of living. But we wanted a modern interpretation of it as well. So the brief to the architect was give us something that's very open, something that's very natural, organic, non-pretentious.
The owner has been staying in Shanghai for many years, so they've sort of forgotten what this tropical architecture is all about. So when they come back, they actually wanted to experience that all over again.
What's the joy, what's the delight, what's the romance of living in the tropics? We try to capture and create that experience for the homeowner.
Hi.
Hi guys.
We actually drive up, it still looks quite prominent, even though it's quite dark.
Exactly. I think what's nice also because like even the timber, remember when we first fixed it, it's kind of darkish brown, and now it's kind of weathered very nicely with the grey. So everything's developing on its own character.
All these structures are going out from the ground like trees. The columns that actually puncture through the upper story living is almost like a tree trunk coming up through your living spaces.
It is on the stilt like the kampung house and goes with the trees very nicely.
Rather than closing people off, we actually want community to come in, to flow in. When we were really young, we lived in a street where the neighbors knew each other. And our back door, it's always left open. I wanted that kind of relationship in this house as well.
When we were designing, actually, at first we were talking about just having a spiral stairs going all the way up.
Yes.
But eventually we changed it, and now we have a figure of 8, which I think makes the experience so much more rich and makes it much more interesting than just having stairs stacked on top of each other.
And also like this table here, remember we cut to the same size as the airwell as well. So at a certain time of the day, the sunlight comes directly down, shining on this table. And I think that effect is wonderful.
To us, transitory space is also an asset that we can actually harness and make into something that is exciting and interesting. That curved staircase, behind it, you also create very interesting spaces in the secondary spaces. The other side of the toilet, for instance, the negative side of that also is a curve. Then it changes the perspective of the toilet. The toilet now becomes a lot more interesting.
You can see a lot of the use of the cement, raw concrete. We left a lot of things exposed, but some of them were planned, but some of them actually we came about when we realized that, oh, it looks pretty nice, like the ceiling here. Yeah, we didn't finish it.
So I remember we're just peeling off the plywood, and then we look at it, it's like, wow, it's actually quite nice. So we left it as it is. But then over time, you can see the rust colors of coming through, and I think it's really lovely.
We said that we should add some timber screens on the exterior to mimic that kind of timber shutters, the timber panelings of the kampong house. But I think it turned out really well. And there's a good play of light and shadow during the afternoons.
This layer creates another layer of privacy, so which is actually quite important because all the houses are so close to each other anyway.
Within the house, we also collect art, but it's not just a decorative element, it's not a gallery, it's a place that we celebrate our relationship, our friends. So the art that you see on the wall are photographers that are very close friends of ours. And the pottery as well, it's from Iskandar Jalil, and we used to play sport, and he teach us pottery, and we had quite a long relationship. So besides his pottery are all his other students' work.
Yeah, so we converted the study into a wardrobe space because we needed more space for storage.
Young, I remember something very special about this artwork.
This one shot by Jeff Ang. You can screen over it and actually start moving in your handphone. It's interactive art, and then you can see the effect of it.
For me, it's a job very well done. To me, it's pretty spectacular.
We want a place that's robust, that's solid, like our character as well. We want it kind of grounded, but at the same time, very simple and keep it to the purest.
Something that's got a deeper meaning and attachment emotionally to us.
Chu and I, we are always for the underdogs. So we really appreciate things that should be appreciated, but the mass majority do not. We focus on utilizing parts of proteins that may be underrated and less appreciated by people. Things like pork collar, we serve it thick to appreciate how the different textures play in that piece of meat. So you get collagen, you get fat, you get lean meat. The design of this space is meant to be very inviting, as if you're coming to a friend's home. Because this space is for sparking conversations about unnecessary food wastage, about understanding more about our food system.
Kausmo is derived from the word cosmos, which means a system of thought, because we are a restaurant based on the concept of thoughtfulness.
You learn where food comes from, the basis of where it all starts. I think the most intriguing thing that I brought back to Singapore is appreciating whatever we have. Ingredients like thyme and rosemary are actually growing in abundance as weeds overseas. But they appreciate it so much that they are able to export it out and to allow many other people across countries to appreciate it. So why can't we? Do we even know what we have here? There's so much we have here that are gems in terms of flavor, texture, aesthetic as well. There are very beautiful produce around.
This one, the Mexican tarragon. This is very good for brain health. We are more or less the only ones that grow perennial vegetables because a lot of Singaporeans don't know how to eat these vegetables.
They focus a lot of their produce being native edibles that thrive in our climate effortlessly, so they require lesser resources like water and care even to grow. And they are not only nutritious, they are really flavorful. Wow, look at that! Wow. One of the items that we saw today is actually the Tonkin jasmine. I'm very excited about it. We hope to feature it very soon in Kausmo because this flower is grown to be used mostly in scrambled eggs. My grandparents might have cooked it before, and then it brings a lot of memories back to people. What we're trying to do is maybe coat it in a very light and thin batter, then flash fry it so it puffs up, and then it still retains the color and the fragrance. So it's sweet, but then it's carried by a crunch at the same time.
Actually, the traditional way, they just put it in soup with some organ meats. Yeah. They are very much interested in more the wild, local kind, perennial kampung vegetables. And I grow it in a food forest setting. I was so happy, when they came along and said they are going to focus their restaurant on this type of vegetables. I just want to support them. So this is the Cosmos, Ulam Raja.
Yes. This is one of the rare, organic and biodiverse kind of farms that focuses on native edibles that we really need in our lands. These plants, they are growing for each other. They're growing for the diversity of wildlife that we have in Singapore. And without them, we might lose a lot of species.
we were very shocked that these ingredients could be considered filtered simply because they don't fit the packaging or they are overripe based on retailers' specifications. That's why we decided to think about what we can do with these ingredients. For the next course, we are serving CONGEE because Lisa is Teochew, so we would like to highlight her Teochew heritage on our menu.
This dish really takes me back home because this is how my family does it. Everything in one bowl just to enjoy because it's very comforting and like heartwarming.
We cook down the overripe and overstocked nectarines and we send it to our friend who runs her own gelato shop.
I like that all the dishes come with a meaningful story. It's really good to learn more about the different ingredients that come from our local land, and waters.
It's been quite a fulfilling experience. Kausmo is a labour of love, and I think it really is because we put our heart into every single aspect around this concept. It has been an incredible journey that we are very proud of.